Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my podcast, Love and Courageous. I'm your host, Demetrius, and today I'll be talking about Jonathan Majors, the actor who was found guilty for harassment and assault. Jonathan Majors is known for playing in big TV shows such as the HBO series Lovecraft Country, who he played as Atticus Freeman, and big movies such as Creed 3, who he played as Damien, The Last Black Man in San Francisco, who he played as Montgomery Allen, the movie Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, who he played as Kang. Now, Jonathan Majors was charged for harassing and assaulting his ex-girlfriend, Grace Jabari. The two met back in August of 2021 when they were filming the movie Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, and the pair dated for 2 years before calling it quits in March of 2023. So on March the 25th, the couple was actually leaving from a Brooklyn party and going to Jonathan Majors' apartment. Now, according to court filing, Grace Jabari said that she saw a text message on the actor's phone, and the text message said, "Wish I was kissing you right now." When she took the phone from Major's hand to see who was texting him, Jonathan Majors allegedly began grabbing the right side of Grace Jabari's body and prying her right middle finger off the phone, causing bruising, substantial pain, and swelling. Also, it's being said that Majors twisted Jabari's right arm before striking her ear. Now, the filing continues by claiming that Jonathan Majors then took his phone and left the car, and that's when Grace Jabari tried to follow him, and Majors grabbed her, picked her up, and threw her back in the car. Now, prosecutors are saying due to this incident, Grace Jabari wound up having a fractured finger, bruising on her body, a cut behind her right ear, and a bump on her head. Now, there is a video that was published by Insider after the incident. And in that video, it shows Grace Jabari on the sidewalk. And it shows that in that video, you can see that she's crying and she's upset. And she's seeking help from random people to get an Uber to get home. Now, later on in the footage, it shows Jonathan Majors walking by. And after he walked past Jabari, she actually calls out to him. So in a court filing, Jonathan Majors' lawyer, Priya Shadreed, claimed that the actor ran out of the car and sent Grace Jabari a text message from a hotel breaking up with her. Jonathan Majors' lawyer continued by saying Grace Jabari showed up at Majors' apartment after partying at a club, and she called him 32 times, accused him of cheating through text, and threatened suicide. Now, however, these text messages were not included in the court filing, but Jonathan Majors came home later on that morning and called 911, according to a document, after realizing that Jabari had taken a lot of sleeping pills and was in the actor's bedroom closet with the door locked, lying on the floor, unconscious, with a cut behind her ear and a broken finger. Now, the same day, Jonathan Majors was arrested in New York City for alleged domestic dispute. Now, the NYPD made a statement to People magazine and said that there was a preliminary investigation that was done, and it was determined that a 33-year-old man was involved in a domestic dispute with a 30-year-old female. Now, Grace Jabari has told police officers that she was assaulted by Jonathan Majors, and the officers then placed Jonathan Majors into custody without incident. Now, Grace Jabari has suffered minor injuries to her neck and head and was removed to a hospital area in stable condition. Now, Jonathan Majors was charged with harassment, assault, and strangulation. So a representative for Jonathan Majors told People magazine, I quote, "He has done nothing wrong. We look forward to clearing his name and clearing this up." Now, the next following day, on March 26, 2023, Jonathan Majors was charged with assault and harassment. Now, the People magazine has obtained documents from the Manhattan District Attorney Office, and in those documents, it said that Jonathan Majors was charged with 3 counts of assault in the 3rd degree, aggravated harassment in the 2nd degree, and 3 counts of attempted assault in 3rd degree, and harassment in 2nd degree. Now, the same day that Majors was arrested, his lawyer Priya Chaudhry made a statement and said, "The actor is completely innocent and is probably the victim of a altercation with the woman he knows." She also continued by saying, "We are quickly gathering and presenting evidence to the district attorney with the expectation that all charges will be dropped imminently. This evidence includes video footage from the vehicle where this episode took place, witness testimony from the driver and others who both saw and heard the episode, and most importantly, two written statements from the women recanting these allegations." So on March the 30th, Jonathan Major's lawyer, Priya Chaudhry, actually released text messages that were sent from Grace Jabari. The lawyer claimed to show the woman disavow any allegations against Jonathan Majors. Now, in the alleged text messages between Jonathan Majors and his ex-girlfriend, Grace Jabari wrote, "They assured me that you won't be charged. They said they had to arrest you as a protocol when they saw the injuries on me and they knew we had a fight. I told them it was my fault for trying to grab your phone." She continued in the text message allegedly by saying, "This was not an attack," and denying that Major strangled her. And she also allegedly texted that 911 call had to do with me collapsing and passing out and your word as my partner due to our communication prior out of care. So that's what allegedly is being said that Grace Jabari has told Jonathan Majors. But documents that were obtained by People magazine shows that Grace Jabari told officers that Major allegedly struck her about the face with an open hand, causing substantial pain and a laceration behind her ear, as well as allegedly grabbed her hand and neck, causing bruising and substantial pain. On April the 27th, Doug Cohen, a press secretary for the Manhattan District Attorney Office, said, I quote, "A judge granted a full temporary order of protection for the victim, who is Grace Jabari, per the people's request and with the consent of defense counsel." Now, Major's lawyer has responded to this by saying, I quote, "This is standard in cases such as this and we consented because Mr. Majors wants nothing to do with the woman who assaulted him. We have been transparent and cooperative with the district attorney, including giving the district attorney ample evidence, including witness statements of Mr. Major's innocence. In fact, we recently provided a forensic medical opinion from a board-certified emergency medicine doctor and trauma specialist who has examined the photos and videos of the woman and concludes without hesitation that the woman did not have any injuries at the nightclub and the injuries she later sustained did not come from Mr. Majors and could not have come from the way the woman described. It is disturbing that even when presented with this incontrovertible evidence, the district attorney continues this false case." So on May the 9th, Jonathan Majors appeared virtually at the Manhattan Criminal Court in New York City for a short hearing. Now, the actor confirmed that he only consented to appear at the hearing virtually rather than in person. Now, the judge, Rachel S. Pauley, ordered Jonathan Majors to appear in person for a hearing that is scheduled on June the 13th. And that she will rule on a decision for a motion requested by the defense. Now, Jonathan Majors' attorney said that her team has provided the Manhattan District Attorney Office with irrefutable evidence that the alleged victim in the incident of March 25th that led to his arrest is lying about the facts of the case. Majors' attorney continued by saying, I quote, "Yet this false case continues. The woman's claim location shifts and her story morphs. This is a witch hunt against Jonathan Majors, driven by baseless claims. Instead of dismissing the allegations in the face of the woman's clear lies, the DA has adjusted the charges to match the woman's new lies." On June the 20th, Jonathan Majors appeared in court during the hearing, and the defense removed the motion that was placed in the first hearing, which was in May. Now, Judge Rachel Pauley arranged a trial date for Major's case, which was scheduled for August the 3rd. The next following day, on June the 21st, Jonathan Majors filed a domestic violence complaint against his ex-girlfriend, Grace Jabari. in a assault case. Now, the actor met up with law enforcement and filed a domestic violence incident report at a precinct in Manhattan's Chinatown neighborhood near where the incident on March the 25th took place. So, Jonathan Majors claimed the drunk and hysterical woman caused him pain and bleeding after the alleged assault, according to an insider, which obtained a copy of the report, a sworn affidavit. In the report, he also alleged that Grace Jabari attacked him in previous incidents, though he said he did not file reports in the past. So Jonathan Majors' trial was supposed to start on August the 3rd, but his lawyer filed a motion to delay the trial, and it was later accepted by the court. So on September the 6th, Majors had to go back to court in Manhattan Criminal Court for a hearing for a new trial date to be set. And the new trial date was set for September the 15th. So the Manhattan Assistant District Attorney Kelly Galloway told the judge that the prosecution was ready for a trial. But Jonathan Major attorney Priya Chaudhry said that the two sides needed to further address deficiencies in the discovery process according to deadline. So on September the 15th, when Major's trial was supposed to begin, it was actually delayed again. His team claimed that the New York prosecutors have attempted to bury key evidence in the case. So the judge who was in court this time was Michael Gaffey, scheduled the next hearing on October the 25th. So when October the 25th came, the judge, Michael Gaffey, denies a request for a dismissal of the Manhattan District Attorney criminal case against Jonathan Majors. So this means that Jonathan Majors will have to go to trial for the incident on March the 25th after alleged domestic dispute, misdemeanor counts of harassment and assault. And the new trial date was set for November the 29th. Now, October the 25th, Jonathan's ex-girlfriend, Grace Jabari, was arrested and charged with assault and criminal mischief. Now, according to police, Majors filed a domestic violence counter complaint in June against his ex-girlfriend, Grace Jabari, and was issued a disappearance ticket and will be required to appear in court to address the charges. Now, Grace Jabari attorney Ross Kramer says, I quote, "We are disappointed that Ms. Jabari had to face an arrest that the Manhattan District Attorney's Office already determined was unwarranted. The DA's office carefully reviewed all the facts of the case and concluded that Ms. Jabari was the victim and not the perpetrator. Before we walked into the police precinct, the DA's office made clear that they would not be charging Ms. Jabari with any offense. It is unfortunate and re-traumatizing when a survivor of intimate partner violence is forced to endure an arrest. But Ms. Jabari is an extremely strong and resilient person who is determined to move forward." Now, in a court document that was filed on September the 21st, the DA office said they had informed Ms. Jabari attorney that they would decline to prosecute Ms. Jabari if she was arrested. So Majors finally goes to court on November the 29th, and on December the 13th, the court actually released text messages between the two. The text messages took place back in September the 22nd when Jonathan Majors texted his former girlfriend and said, I quote, "I fear you have no perspective of what could happen if you go to the hospital. They will ask you questions, and as I don't think you actually protect us, it could lead to an investigation even if you do lie and they suspect something." And Grace Jabari responded to the text saying, I quote, "I will tell the doctor I bumped my head if I go. I'm going to give it one more day, but I can't sleep and need some stronger painkillers. That's all. Why would I want to tell them what really happened when it's clear I want to be with you?" Now, in court, they allegedly say that Majors wrote, "Last night I considered killing myself." And Jabari responded saying, "I will not go to the doctor if you don't feel safe with me doing so, or don't trust me to. I promise I will never mention you, but I understand your fear." Now, allegedly, Jabari, they're saying that Majors responded back to that text message and threatened suicide again due to Jabari not hugging him after a fight, and said, allegedly, it's not really contemplating anymore. And he also allegedly sent another text message saying, I'm a monster, a horrible man, not capable of love, I'm killing myself soon, I already put things in motion. So I'm going to go into more depth of the trial and what Grace Jabari said on the stand and also the witnesses. So Grace Jabari said on the stand that Jonathan Majors was a monster. I quote, she said, I feel like I had to be perfect. If I did one little thing or said the wrong thing, the temper would show. I wanted to avoid it. She also said that Majors got angry with her when she mentioned an ex-boyfriend and when she didn't have good service to keep in contact with him during a music festival. She said the actor threw candles and shouted at her when she visited him in his Los Angeles home 2022 in the summer. She alleged that he tore her headphones from her ears and stomped on them during another incident that happened in London of September. She said, I quote, I fear him physically quite a lot. Now, she mentioned the incident that happened on March the 25th when she saw a text message that popped up on Major's phone saying, wish I was kissing you right now. She asked him if she could see the text message and she grabbed his phone. Then Major tried to pry the device from her fingers. She said, twisting her right arm behind her back until she was excruciating pain and hitting her in the head. Then the actor ran away from the car, and she said when she saw him again, they returned back to the car to speak before Majors went to a hotel. Now, she said that she went to a club for a few hours to distract herself before returning back to Major's apartment. And she said she felt scared that Majors would come back, so she locked the bedroom door. So Jonathan Majors' lawyer started to ask Grace Jabari questions, and there was a footage that was shown in court where Jabari took a shot and wiped her mouth with her right hand. Now, Jonathan Majors' attorney, Priya Chaudhry, said she did this about 60 times. And she even asked Jabari about her right finger. Majors' attorney asked the actress, did she feel the dry blood when she was brushing her hair behind her ear or putting her hair up in a bun? Now, Jabari said that she hadn't been touching the injured spot on her head. She also said that she wasn't focusing on the pain and that she was just trying to have a nice time. Now I'm going to get into the witnesses and what they said on the stand. So Jabari got a friend who is a dancer named Holly Blakely and said that she spoke with Jabari after the alleged assault. She said that Jabari sounded very broken and very traumatized, and that Jabari told her that Major hurt her, and also Jabari sent her photos of the injuries. Now, the NYPD named Brandon Swain and his colleagues said when they found Jabari in the closet, the officer testified and said that Jabari looked frightened in the face when Major was in the closet. He also said that he made sure that Majors was in a different room because Jabari whispered to him and said that she didn't want the actor right outside. Now, the officer continued by saying that he recognized that her right middle finger was bruised and that she had a laceration on her right ear. The officer asked her about it multiple times, and he said that Jabari said she didn't want Mr. Majors to get in trouble, but then decided to explain what Majors allegedly did to her finger. Now, there was a fourth and fifth witness that Jabari hung out with at the club that she met on the street, and they said that they did not see any marks on Jabari's face, neck, ear, or fingers. The other witness was a driver that was driving the two back to Major's home before they wound up in an altercation. The driver name is Naveed Sarwar, who testified and said that Majors threw Jabari like a football into the back of the car, but also referred to Jabari as a psycho girl. He said that he saw Major pushing Jabari back into the car to get rid of her and also saw Major leave the car after the couple fought. He also said he had a feeling that Jabari had hit Major, but he said that he didn't see anything. Now, they also added Dr. William Chang onto the stand, and he said that the injuries that Jabari had, there was no way it was due to self-inflicted or caused by a direct fall. He said the cut behind her ear could be consistent with an altercation or falling on a sharp object object. Now, the doctor was asked, can squeezing or twisting someone's arm cause these type of injuries? The doctor said neither motion can usually cause a break. He also said that normally a blow to the head will cause bruising, which Jabari did not have. Now, after all this information and others that I have not spoken of, the verdict decided to find Jonathan Majors guilty. Now, Jonathan Majors was found guilty for misdemeanors assault. So he was found guilty for a misdemeanor assault in the third degree, recklessly causing physical injury and harassment in second degree. Now, however, he was not found guilty of misdemeanor assault in third degree with intent to cause physical injury and misdemeanor aggravated harassment in second degree. After the jury has reached a verdict, Major lawyer has came out and made a statement claiming that Majors has been presumed guilty because he was a black man being accused by a white woman. She said, I quote, they took a look at Mr. Majors and made up their minds. They decided who was the victim and who was the criminal. It is clear that the jury did not believe Grace Jabari's story of what happened in the SUV because they found that Mr. Majors did not intentionally cause any injuries to her. We are disappointed, however, that despite not believing Mr. Jabari, the jury nevertheless found that Mr. Majors was somehow reckless while she was attacking him. Mr. Majors still has faith in the process and looks forward to fully clearing his name. After the verdict was announced, Marvel dropped Jonathan Majors. But ever since the verdict, this is not the only thing that has hurt Jonathan Majors' career. Jonathan Major U.S. Army recruitment ads were pulled. Now, another company that has stepped away from working with the actor is the Lee Company. The company parted ways with the actor on April the 18th once he was charged with harassment and assault. Also, after that, he was also taken out of consideration for at least two upcoming film projects. He was supposed to star in an upcoming film adaptation of Walter Mosley, the 2004 novel The Man in My Basement. And also, he is no longer going to be in the movie that was supposed to be made about the late musician Otis Redding. And he also will no longer appear in an ad campaign for Major League Baseball Texas Rangers. Jonathan Majors has a court date on February the 6th for the misdemeanor assault to be sentenced, and he can carry up to a year in jail and a harassment violation. Now, there have been a lot of alleged abuse victims of Jonathan Majors that have came forward after he was dropped from multiple projects. So after the verdict came out, Jonathan Majors decided to wait a little while and then he decided to do an interview. In that interview, Jonathan Majors blamed his guilty verdict on racism, saying the trial was, of course, about race. And also said that guilty verdict, you might as well put that on my birth certificate. And he was even asked in the interview if he knew how Jabari got those injuries. And Major said, I wish to God I knew. But he also said he planned to appeal the conviction. So in the interview, he decided to refer to Megan Good, his new girlfriend, refer to her as Coretta Scott King. Just in case anyone don't know, Coretta Scott King was the wife of Martin Luther King Jr. and she was an activist and a civil rights movement leader back in the 60s. Now, when Jonathan Majors compared Megan to Coretta Scott King, he got a lot of backlash for it. And one of Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King's daughters had something to say about it. Bernice King posted on social media, I quote, my mother wasn't a prop. She was a peace advocate before she met my father and was instrumental in him speaking out against the Vietnam War. Please understand my mama was a force. Okay, so now I'm just going to give my opinion on all of this. So one thing I will say about the comment that he made about Coretta Scott King, honestly, I kind of feel like he was a little digging. I think he was kind of doing that for like attention, and it did not go well. Cause I'm like, that was not good. Now, however, I do think Megan Good is there for him. Like she supports him and stuff, which I think that's probably what he was trying to say. Like, she held him down like the way Coretta Scott King, held Martin Luther King Jr. down. But at the same time, I still kind of feel like he was kind of a little digging at that part. But another thing I will say is that when he told his ex-girlfriend that he would like her to act more like Michelle Obama and Coretta Scott King, honestly, I didn't understand that. It threw me off because I was like, wait, what? Did he just tell a white woman he want her to act like a black woman? It just didn't make sense to me because number one, a white woman won't ever go through the same stuff a black woman goes through. She don't have to deal with the racial discrimination like we do. Like honestly, she stood there and was saying that he abused her and stuff. You know, a white woman can lie and say a black man raped them and they'll be heard. We as black women, if we was to come forward and say, you know, we were raped, a lot of people they wouldn't even want to listen to us. They'll automatically look down on us as black women. And with the racial injustice that we have that was planted into this system, they will say that, oh, we were prostitutes, we wanted it. Honestly, a white woman just won't ever go through the things that a black woman will go through. A white woman don't have to work as hard as a black woman. We as black women, we have to act the part, we have to look the part. A lot of these white people, they can go out here to these jobs and don't even look the part and will get it. And you have a lot of these white people, honestly, they are lazy when it comes to a lot of these jobs, but they'll be the first ones to get promoted before a black person. So I'm not trying to be funny. Like when he told her that, I'm like, she's not black. She's white. She has her white privilege. So therefore, she don't have to act right. She don't have to. She can stand there and go out there and get a DUI and be getting in fights and stuff. Sweetheart, somebody will give this woman a chance. But let that be a black woman. She loses a lot of opportunities. A black woman cannot do the same thing a white woman does. And that's just the honest truth. Like a white woman, she don't think the same because she's not going to have as much consequence. Well, she's really not going to have any consequences at all to her actions like a black woman would. So it's like when he said that, it just didn't make logical sense to me. I was like, yeah, I'm not understanding where you coming from. And I remember I was talking to my family about it, and my mom was like, he couldn't refer to her to another white woman. And I was like, I mean, yeah, he could have. But I ain't trying to be funny. Like, if he would have said another white woman, I think a lot of people really would have been mad about it because they'd be like, oh, he really got something for the white girls, huh? But I think because he said something about black women, it's like I don't even know if that made it better or worse. I really don't. I don't know which one would be worse. The fact of saying another white woman's name or the fact that he said black woman's name. Because I mean, he did say black women's name, so clearly he do have some type of love for his own black women, which I know a lot of people they were trying to say that, oh well, this is what he get for, you know, dating a white woman. He think that, oh, he, you know, he at the peak of his career, he think he's too good. And I was like, well, I mean, to be honest, I don't really think he thinks that he's too good to have a black woman because he literally just told his ex-white girlfriend to act like a black woman. So clearly he has love for his black women, but he was just with a white woman. But I'm like, honestly, the fact that he said that, I said, yeah, I think he with the wrong kind, honey. Cause you won't ever get a white woman that's going to do the things that a black woman can do. They're not us, and they won't ever be us, and that's just the honest truth. But my brother was trying to say that Jonathan Majors was saying, act like you're somebody. I'm sorry, that still don't make logic sense because she's white. She is white privileged. So therefore, she don't have to go around and, you know, carry herself a certain type of way. Act like she has nothing to lose. She don't have to act like that. That's why I was like, you still not making sense here. But other than that, I mean, honestly, I feel sorry for him. I really do. But I just think another thing is that his ex girlfriend, Grace Jabari, number one, she stood him up because the simple fact that she recorded that conversation. She was plotting this because she recorded the conversation. He clearly did not know he was being recorded. And here she is standing here trying to play victim and, you know, did a little fake tears and like, oh, I'm sorry. And I'm just like, wait a minute, hold up now. She recording this. You know you recording somebody, of course you're going to play innocent. That's why she said what she said, because she knew she was recording him. And then when she stood there and lied to him and said that, oh, the cops, they arrested you for protocol, but she told the cops something else. She was plotting. She wanted to get his behind back. Now, however, in my opinion, either she probably knew he was cheating before the whole incident on March the 25th, or it was just he was at the peak of his, career. She didn't like it. Because some people were saying it's because of jealousy. Honestly, the fact that she was recording, I have no idea what it was. I'm not trying to be funny. I really don't. I think when she found out that he was cheating, of course, she most definitely, I think she wanted to get even, but I can't recall if when she was recording him, when he was saying, act like, somebody important and referred to Michelle Obama and Coretta Scott King. I don't know at that point if she knew he was cheating or not. I don't know. So if she didn't know at that point, then yeah, I think it was because he was at the height of his career and she did not like that and she wanted to bring his behind down because that was just plain out dirty. She was planning that. Oh, she most definitely was planning. Because the cut behind her ear, which I thought was very suspicious, I have not ever seen nothing like that before. I watch a lot of documentaries on domestic violence and stuff, and I have not ever seen or heard anybody have a cut behind their ear. I mean, honestly, how in the world did that cut behind the ear? How did that happen? Like, no, I don't think he gave her that. I really don't. And then that little small little bruise on her little finger, they act like this woman's finger was cut off. Like, okay, first of all, that's a very small bruise. Like, that crap is gonna go away. They act like that was something serious. And honestly, the whole law enforcement thing, they were dirty because they stood there and told her if she was arrested that she would not be prosecuted. Because the simple fact that she was the only one able to go up on that stand. When I was reading on this story, they only showed her bruises. They didn't show his. So I was like, okay, first of all, that's foul. And then they only mentioned his charges in the court. They did not mention hers. So that was completely dirty. They set that crap up. They was looking out for her from the beginning. They was like, nope, this is a white woman. This is a black man. And I'm not even trying to be funny. I think another reason why they did this, because everybody heard that video. A lot of the white people was pissed. Like, what? Did he just tell a white woman to act like a black woman? Oh, no. We ain't having this. They pretty sure they was mad at that. I mean, we as a black community, we was upset because we was like, did he just say that? Like, wait a minute. They ain't us. But the white people is completely different because a lot of them, they think they're better. So therefore, you to tell her to act more like a black woman, you are actually at that point in their eyes, uplifting your black women and putting the white woman down. The white community did not like that. The judge did not like that. The juries did not like that. The police officers did not like that. He did not stand a chance. The minute he said that, I said, oh, he really done pissed the white people off. But I also feel like the text messages that she was texting him, like, oh, why would I tell them when I want to be with you? I feel like she was plotting. She was plotting because she knew what she was going to do. She was 10 steps ahead. He didn't see that crap coming. He should have dumped her behind a long time ago. Because why would you say that? Anytime you go to court, they want to see the text messages. And they saw those text messages. I don't know nobody that stands here and be like, oh, well, I'm in an abusive relationship. Let me go back to their apartment. You ain't got no place of your own? That don't even make sense. Anytime when somebody's in an abusive relationship, sweetheart, you don't live there. That's his place. You have your own place. Go to your own place. If you really was that scared, why would you go back to his place? She should have stayed at a hotel. He stayed at a hotel. That don't even make sense. Cause I'm like, okay, those people you was clubbing with, you couldn't go to their place. Like, I mean, come on now. And then she a celebrity. Girl, you got money. You could have stayed at a hotel. That don't even make logic sense. So I was like, nah, she plotting. She was most definitely plotting. But another thing I will say is to the people out here that came out, which I think is so funny and ironic, that said that he abused them as well. And I think it's so funny because they did not give their names out. And one of the people was like, oh, they met him on set. And I was just like, that's funny because his ex-girlfriend met him on set. So I'm not trying to be funny. Some of these people really do be like fishing, for gold and just wanting attention. They just want clout. And when I was reading some of their stories, I was like, just giving fake. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny. One thing I don't like, and honestly, as a woman myself, I really do not appreciate other women that rely on an innocent man. I don't care what race he is, but the fact that we as women, a lot of us do get abused out here, but the fact that we are more believed than a man, and you want to stand here and lie on an innocent man, you need to be ashamed of yourself. And I hope that y'all names are released, because the fact that y'all cowardly did this but did not give any names, nah, you need to give your name up so he can sue you for slander. Because if anybody stood there and lied against me and said something like that, I'm suing. I'm taking you to court. Because how dare you stand there and lie on somebody's name? That messes up people's image. It messes up other opportunities for them. I mean, I just listed, a few minutes ago, all the other opportunities that he had that were taken away from him because of what happened with him and his ex-girlfriend. And you mean to tell me some of you women want to lie about it? That's unethical. You don't do stuff like that. And there are actually women out here that go through these things. And when you as a woman lie, you're making it harder on us women that actually experience abuse to be heard. And it's not okay. You don't lie on somebody. That's just unethical. You don't do stuff like that. I don't agree with it at all. Now, I'm willing to listen to people's side of the story. And I read on it and I was just like, no, you can tell when people lying. And honestly, I hope y'all women that did that mess, I really hope y'all be sued, because that is so wrong. And trust and believe me, God don't like ugly. Y'all gonna get y'all karma for doing that. You don't stand there and lie on somebody like that. But anyways, that was all for today. Thank you all for listening and tuning in to my podcast. And I hope you all have a lovely day.